In this lesson, we'll look at modifying part of the frame to accommodate the sprocket that we just created. So let's move our sprocket into place. We'll grab both of these pieces. Go ahead and group those together, Control G. Go ahead and name that something meaningful, and we'll go ahead and move it into position. Looking at our side view, it needs to be decreased in size quite a bit, so we'll go ahead and do that. And so we'll get something like that. And now you can see that we have geometry kind of intersecting with this. It doesn't really match up with exactly what we want. So I'm going to take this piece, and this piece, and actually attach them together. So let's go ahead and isolate these. So these are NURBS pieces. So to connect these, we're going to use Attach Surfaces. Under the Surfaces menu set, Edit NURBS, Attach Surfaces. Let's go into the options. Instead of blending, where we get a nice soft curve, I want to kind of keep that hard edge, and so I'm going to use Connect instead. We'll go ahead and remove the multiple knots so it won't be completely hard there, and I'll turn off Keep Originals. Now let's go ahead and attach. So now we get a little bit of a nicer connection there, and it's all one piece. We'll do the same thing here and attach that. Now if we take a look in our attribute editor, you can see that our parameterization is off a little bit. So let's go into our Edit NURBS, Rebuild Surfaces, and we'll just rebuild it. Alright, so we've got one piece now. Let's go ahead and convert this. So we can convert NURBS to poly. If we do control points, go ahead and turn off our isolate, we get something that looks like that. Okay, let's close this out and turn off our NURBS surfaces. And then we can see this is our polygon. If we hit 3 to smooth it, we get something that matches up fairly well. We show our NURBS surfaces again. Hide our NURBS surface. You can see it still matches up fairly well. Okay, so now what we want to do is I want to create a little bit of extra geometry coming down here, and then I want to get rid of this geometry at the back. Alright. Let's turn off our NURBS curves. And I want to also kind of fix that up right down there at the bottom. So let's go into the side. Let's take our point. We can kind of move that over so it matches up more with the line. Alright, let's take the edges down there on the bottom. Let's go ahead and extrude those. We're working with polygons now, so we'll extrude those down. And pull that in. That will extend that line down a little bit more. Now we have extra geometry inside here that we need to get rid of. So now we can come in and start to get rid of some of these faces. So I'm just going to select the faces on the back, get rid of those faces. And now we can take these points and move them up out of the way. As long as they're inside another piece of geometry, then we won't see them. We'll go ahead and move those out of the way. Okay, so something like that. So now the inside of that is clear, and then we've also extended that front, and now we've just got a single piece here rather than the multiple NURBS pieces that we had before. The edge is softened up a little bit, but I kind of like it, so we'll leave that as is. Okay, so if you have objects that you've created in one way, in a certain type of geometry, so it's it was easier to create something in NURBS, you don't feel like you have to leave it in NURBS. We've looked at several ways and several scenarios where we've wanted to convert from one type of geometry to another in order to continue on with the shape that we're trying to get. So in this case, we had these three pieces that were giving us the shape that we wanted, but there was just a certain part of it, this end, which wasn't working very well for us. And so we were able to come in, convert that from a NURBS to a polygon surface, combine them all together so it's one piece, and we don't have to deal with three pieces, and then we're able to come in and modify this. So don't be afraid to go back and forth with the types of geometry that you're working with. Alright, so the next thing that we want to do is to come in and build kind of the chain guard coming off from here to the back. So we'll go ahead and look at that in the next lesson.